The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a complex and enduring struggle. At its core lies a fundamental dispute over land and the right to self-determination. Both Israelis and Palestinians claim the same territory as their homeland. This clash of narratives fuels a cycle of violence, mistrust, and failed negotiations. The conflict's roots run deep, entangled with historical grievances, religious claims, and political aspirations. Resolving this conflict requires addressing these fundamental issues. It demands a commitment to understanding the perspectives of both sides. The conflict's impact extends far beyond the borders of Israel and the Palestinian territories. It reverberates throughout the Middle East. The plight of the Palestinians resonates deeply with the Arab world. This shared sense of injustice shapes regional dynamics and fuels anti-Israel sentiment. The conflict also complicates international relations. It poses a formidable challenge to diplomats and peacemakers. The enduring nature of the conflict underscores the need for a new approach. Dialogue and diplomacy must replace violence and mistrust. Finding a path to peace requires acknowledging the suffering of both sides. It demands a commitment to finding a just and sustainable solution. The international community has a crucial role to play in this process. It must act as a mediator, facilitator, and guarantor of any peace agreement. Addressing the underlying issues of land, refugees, and security is paramount. Only then can a lasting and just peace take root. Benjamin Netanyahu's tenure as Israel's longest-serving prime minister has been marked by a distinctive approach to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Known for his hardline stance and shrewd political maneuvering, Netanyahu has consistently prioritized security concerns and national interests. His negotiation tactics, often characterized by skepticism toward concessions, have drawn both praise and criticism. Our unwavering commitment to Israeli security is not just a policy, it is a necessity. We must protect our citizens from terrorism and ensure our nation's safety. Netanyahu's supporters point to his unwavering commitment to Israeli security as a testament to his leadership. Critics argue that Netanyahu's policies perpetuate the cycle of violence and mistrust. They contend that his reluctance to engage in meaningful negotiations and his expansion of settlements undermine the prospects for peace. His approach, they argue, deepens the divide, making a peaceful resolution more elusive. Netanyahu's legacy on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is complex and contested. His supporters view him as a defender of Israeli security, while his detractors see him as an obstacle to peace. The Gaza Strip, a densely populated coastal enclave, represents a microcosm of the complexities and challenges inherent in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Two strategic corridors within Gaza, Netzarim and Philadelphi, have become focal points of contention, their control carrying significant implications for both sides. Netzarim, once a Jewish settlement evacuated in 2005, bisects the Gaza Strip, effectively dividing it into two. Its control allows Israel to restrict movement within Gaza, impacting trade, access to resources, and daily life for Palestinians. The corridor's strategic location makes it a point of vulnerability for both sides, with the potential for clashes and confrontations. Philadelphia, a narrow strip of land running along the Gaza-Egypt border, represents another critical choke point. Israel views it as a potential smuggling route for weapons and militants, arguing for continued security presence. However, this presence further restricts Gaza's access to the outside world, exacerbating the already dire humanitarian situation.
Every day we face restrictions that make it hard to live a normal life. The control over these corridors affects everything, from our ability to trade to our access to basic necessities.
Control over these corridors highlights the broader struggle for control and autonomy within Gaza. For Israel, maintaining security and preventing attacks remain paramount. For Palestinians, these corridors symbolize the restrictions they face and their aspirations for freedom of movement and economic viability. The fate of Netzarim and Philadelphi is intricately linked to the broader peace process. Finding a solution that addresses both Israeli security concerns and Palestinian aspirations for self-determination is crucial. Until then, these corridors will likely remain flashpoints, their control a constant source of tension and instability. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict has long been a focal point of international diplomacy, with various actors seeking to mediate a peaceful resolution. The United States, Egypt, and Qatar have played active roles, each bringing their own perspectives and leverage to the negotiating table. The United States, as a long-standing ally of Israel, has traditionally led peace talks. However, its influence has waned with recent administrations shifting focus.
The U.S. remains key, but recent shifts impact its mediation effectiveness.
Egypt, with its border with Gaza, plays a crucial role in mediating ceasefires. Qatar, a wealthy Gulf state, provides financial assistance to Gaza and hosts Hamas officials. The involvement of these actors highlights the complexities of the conflict and the challenges of finding a lasting solution. Section 5. Empty Victories, Assessing Netanyahu's Legacy.
Benjamin Netanyahu's lengthy tenure as Israel's prime minister has left an undeniable mark on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. His approach, characterized by a focus on security, skepticism toward concessions, and a willingness to employ military force, has yielded a mixed bag of results, with debatable long-term implications for Israel's strategic goals.
On the one hand, Netanyahu can point to a period of relative security for Israel, with major terrorist attacks significantly reduced during his time in office.
His supporters argue that his tough stance against Hamas and other militant groups, coupled with the construction of security barriers and targeted military operations, has successfully deterred attacks and protected Israeli citizens.
However, critics argue that this focus on security has come at the expense of a viable peace process. They point to the continued expansion of Israeli settlements in the West Bank, the lack of progress towards a two-state solution, and the worsening humanitarian situation in Gaza as evidence that Netanyahu's policies have only exacerbated the conflict's underlying issues.
The question of whether Netanyahu's strategies have achieved lasting political or diplomatic gains for Israel remains a subject of intense debate. While he has undoubtedly strengthened Israel's security in the short term, his critics argue that his policies have alienated Palestinians, strained relations with international partners, and made a sustainable peace even more elusive.
Only time will tell how Netanyahu's legacy on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict will ultimately be judged. However, one thing is certain: his approach has left an indelible mark on the conflict's trajectory, shaping the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead.
Hezbollah has always viewed the conflict with Israel as a central issue. Our presence in the northern front is a testament to our commitment to resist and defend our people. We are prepared for any escalation.
Hezbollah's involvement in the conflict introduces another layer of complexity, with the northern front being a critical flashpoint. Their influence and actions are pivotal in shaping regional dynamics.
Iran's role in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict cannot be understated. They provide support to various groups and have strategic interests that extend beyond just the immediate conflict. Alliances in the Middle East are constantly shifting, influenced by Iran's actions and policies.
The shadow of Iran looms large over the region, affecting alliances and power structures. Understanding Iran's objectives is key to grasping the broader geopolitical landscape. Military action can only achieve so much. While we must defend our nation, we also need to recognize that sustainable peace requires more than just force. It demands dialogue and mutual understanding. The Israeli leadership acknowledges the limitations of using force alone. The quest for a lasting peace involves a combination of defense and diplomacy.
The international community has a crucial role to play in fostering trust and ensuring justice. Our efforts are focused on mediating and supporting a fair resolution to the conflict.
Living in the Gaza Strip, we yearn for a future where justice prevails and trust is rebuilt. International engagement is vital for our voices to be heard and our rights to be respected.
Trust and justice are fundamental to resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. International engagement and support are essential in paving the way for a peaceful and just future.